What is up? What is happening? Happy Friday. It's the last Friday of 2024. And I just wanted to do my first live, which is kind of weird. It's my first one, so I hope it's turning out well, and I hope I can give you as much information as possible. What I want to talk to you about today and inform you is a little bit about the predictions of the housing market in 2025. Since we're getting into 2025, it's pretty important to know what is coming, what is predicted, and we're looking at interest rates and how it changed from initial predictions in 2024 for 2025, and how people actually, or professionals in all the experts, predicted it at the beginning or the mid 2024, what's going on in 2025, and how that actually shifted just recently when it comes to mortgage rates in the housing market. So I want to dive in with you into this whole stuff right here, and give you a little bit of intel on what is happening, what's going on, and what maybe is changing according to expert, and what actually has changed in their mind, so you are informed what's going on in 2025. So when we look at, for example, some numbers in 2024, we have here from the Business Insider what all the experts predicted it to be for 2025. Fannie Mae, for example, predicted 6.6%, and by 2025, we should have around 6.3% by the end of next year, which they actually saw rates dropping into the 5% range in 2024, and that has just not happened. Freddie Mac, they also had the same kind of prediction, with the 6.3 in mortgage rates actually going down. It's always funny to see when people actually talk about, oh, the Fed's cut the rate. And yeah, then the interest rates actually go up. So necessarily, if the Feds cut the rates, it does not mean that you are getting lower interest rates. It could be that the Feds cut the rate, and interest rates actually go up. We have had that happen for a couple of times, or a couple times lately. Um, the Mortgage Banker Association actually predicted 6.4% interest rates and a tick down into 26 to 6.3. And the National Association of Realtors predicted a 5.8% interest rate, or going down to 5.8% in 2025. And then Realtor.com also went to 6.2%. They all just revised actually their actual statement on what is happening with interest rates. And we're going to look at that just so you can see what their spiel was on that. Um, you can see here from the Housing Wire, um, in late December, all mortgage rate forecasts have been published now. Unfortunately, all of them were already wrong. Um, that's the beauty of prediction. They were already wrong. Most housing analyst experts, expert analysts, the mortgage rate to spend the year with a six handle. So they all predict that we're not going down to 5%. They all predict we're staying in the sixes for 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Um, and that is kind of where everyone sees it to be. So it doesn't seem like that we're going into the 5%. Um, and if you read this here, right here, and yet with pesky inflation data not falling as quickly or as far as expected. Fed Chair Jerome Powell suddenly changed his language in the Fed meeting on December 19th, and the bond market got spooked and mortgage rates jumped back over 7%. So we're back over 7%, got a bit hike, even though we got a Fed rate reduction, the mortgage rates jumped back up. And it has to do with the inflation just not going down as fast as everyone thought they would, right? And they could still ease down, according to the article from Housing Wire, but it's not likely to go into the fives. So interest rates are gonna probably stay in the sixes, but we do not have a class ball, so we don't know exactly what the predictions are going to be, or what the outcome is actually going to be over 2025. As of right now, everyone predicts that we are with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage around the 7% in mortgage rates. And that's not as great for new home buyers. It's not great. It is not ideal for people who thought they could refinance. And um, w- we'll have to see how that is going to shape into form over the next couple of months. But this scenario isn't new. Most forecasters got the mortgage trends for 2024 wrong as well. In late 2023, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage neared 8%, the biggest level in decades. And at this time, most mortgage markets observed expected that rates had reached their peak and would generally decline in 2024, stabilizing at perhaps 6%. Well, we didn't stabilize. That did not happen. We went up and down and up and down, and we did not really stabilize at all. As you can see, we at this graph, I mean, our mortgage rates went down a little bit to 6.8 in September, and then we got a hike back up, and now we're at 7.1%. So um, it is not as great as it seemed to be. And if you look at the 2025 mortgage rate forecast, Redfin has a high of 7.2, the Housing Wire of 7.2, Goldman Sachs of 7, Fannie Mae 6.7, Wells Fargo 6.65, and NAR, actually, National Association of Realtors, has them at the lowest. But is that really going to be that way? They were already wrong for 2025. They were already wrong for 2024, so they didn't really change, or you know they didn't predict it right. So are they predicting it right for 2025? It's hard to say. Most likely it's not going to be, and we just don't know. It's not good if the rates go towards the 7 and 7.25 for any home buyer. It's not good for our market, but if we take a market overview for this, which I want to share with you real quick. um if we take the housing market prediction over here for 2025, um, we'll see that the prediction is that the inventory will grow and the mortgage rates will fall a little bit. Inventory is growing already in the Warner Robins in the Middle Georgia area. It's probably growing nationwide. Um, Especially since we have a bunch of new constructions coming in, and I mean, it's just absurd how many new constructions are being built. Um, so inventory for sure is growing, and on top of that, with higher interest rates, there is not much of demand. Um, Will the home prices go down? Everyone actually expects the home prices not to go down, but home prices will probably not grow as fast as they did over the last couple of years. So if you're a homeowner, equity growth is not going to be as much as it was over the last 2 years. So you still gain equity. You're not losing equity, according to the predictions. Because if we look at it in this article right here and read through it real quick, it is anticipated that home prices will increase modestly in 2025. Zillow forecasts slower rise than in the previous years, with a 2.6% home value growth. I mean, think about it. 2.6% value growth is still a lot. Um, I mean, 2.6% at $100,000 is $2,600 a year, and then go up. I mean, there is quite a bit of increase still happening. It's just not at the 4.5% that we have seen. For buyers that they thought of yet another rise in home prices, they can be discouraged, which can be discouraging, for example, in this article. However, there is a silver lining in 2025. Uh, expectations. Experts suggest that there will be more homes on the market, with the number of new single family homes expected to increase by 13.3%. This is in comparison to a 4.4% increase in 2024. That is quite a bit. I mean, we increasing the amount of homes on the market by triple what happened in 2024. That tells you that there's so much being built right now, um, that it is gonna be crazy. 13.8% more homes gonna be on the market, um, and in 2025. That's a lot. Also, with the market in general, if you're looking for resale property, are you able to get a better deal on resale properties? You probably, because you have more to choose from, and sellers are more willing to negotiate. Um, they already have in 2024, but as a buyer, with the interest rates, a lot of people just got pushed out of the market or scared out of the market, because with 7%, of course, you cannot afford as much as you could if the interest rates are at 5. Those 2% or even 1% in the mortgage rates makes a huge, huge difference for purchasing a home, right? Will the building costs go down? Apparently, building cost is also predicted not to go down. The cost of new homes soared during the pandemic. We all know that not only new homes, every home price got artificially inflated. Um, as the supply chain was interrupted, um, material prices increased and labor shortages took a hold. People couldn't find as many people to build, and then our lumber prices went skyrocketing. And even if lumber prices right now went down a little bit, builders are not going to change their price. They're already set. Why would they build a house for $500,000 the last 2 years, and now lumber prices come down and they build it all of a sudden for $400,000? That wouldn't do them any good, and that's how it kept up the pricing, right? And we're gonna see the same thing coming up, and they even mentioned that lumber prices have come back down right here. Um, lumber prices have come back down, but builders are still charging the same price, and they will, because they're now set at that price. It's just it's crazy. Um, will there be smaller houses being built? Yes. And we see a lot of smaller houses being built. Here in the Middle Georgia area, we've seen a lot of homes being built prior that are in the 2,500 square foot plus range, right? And now we see builders building more new constructions between 1,500 and 1,700 square foot because of pricing. Because 2,500 square foot plus is not affordable for a lot of people anymore. And then 1,500 and 1,700 is like the new, more affordable housing option. I know that in Middle Georgia, in the Woodlands, for example, they start building 1,500 square foot homes. Starting at $290,000. So that is kind of like the new norm. $300,000 for a 1,500 square foot home. Homes will get bigger, a bit smaller. We will not see many huge houses being built unless people really have money and they don't care. And you see that only with transplants from California, Oregon, like the West Coast or the East Coast, where they did have a lot of equity and they just buy cash and they don't care. But from a regular perspective of a buyer that is PCSing to Robbins Air Force Base, right? Um, yeah, some of those families, they do not have that money to purchase. So they have to step down with a 1,500 a square foot and buy cheaper homes. But um, you would think that a lot of people would then go into renting, right? Rent more. And that is an issue that we have here in the middle of Georgia, that there is not much to rent. There are not many rental properties out there on the market. There's not much. And then rental prices are predicted to not go down either, which is another hit for anyone looking for affordable housing, because the prediction is here that as a key factor determining rental affordability is the rental vacancy rate. From 2013 to 2019, the long-term vacancy rate stood at an average of 7.2%. That rate dipped to a low of 5.5% in 2022. In 2023, the rate began climbing to 6.5, and it continues to climb as of the third quarter of 2024. With the pace of newly completed multifamily homes reaching 658,000 units, the rate is up to 6.9% right now. But in our area, we don't have that many rental properties. And if there's a rental property, it's gone in no time. Therefore, we still have a supply and demand issue in the rental markets, rental sectors, and prices therefore not going down. I currently see rental prices even go up further, actually, than they were. Um, so it is a hard pill to swallow for every home buyer currently, or renter, or anyone who is moving to new area and to needs housing, because we all need housing. But um it's going to be still hard. Higher interest rates than predicted. They were wrong in 2024. They might be wrong again in 2025, but we're looking at like 7%. And who knows if they're climbing. We need to check the job markets and the inflation rate. They need to all come down a little bit to make that actually happen, that interest rates go back down. Home sales. This is interesting too. Will home sales rise? You would expect, with inventory higher and interest rates lower, inventory higher and interest rates higher, that you won't have that many buyers out there. But the prediction is that home sales will rise with the expectation of additional inventory, including smaller homes and the potential of lower mortgage rates. It is predicted that home sales will naturally rise. Zillow suggests housing market activities will pick up with existing home sales. And sorry, my dog is barking here, but um, wait. Zillow suggests housing market activities will pick up with existing home sales increasing by about 7.5%. So we get an increase of home sales by 7.5%. That's the prediction. Um, Home sales will go up, then, or they will be more than it was in 2024. 2024 was a very slow market for buyers, for sellers. It was a very weird market because no one really knew what's going on. And I think a lot of people still don't know what's going on. Election year is always crazy. So I think we need to wait till the new administration is in place and see where we go from there. If job market changes, if the inflation changes, and then we also see that the hopefully the interest rates drop and not go up. The market for buyers, as you can see right here, is predicted to change. And it will probably change for buyers. It will be more and more a buyer's market because more inventory will be there. So you can choose from more properties out there that makes a big difference. Um, so where we're gonna be at, where we, I mean, there are so many different predictions from so many different so-called experts, and it feels like no one really knows what is happening. And we as real estate agents, we don't really know what's happening because we are literally, we need to wait what the interest rates do, right? Um, and that determines how many people are buying, and that's just the way it is. I can tell you from perspective of selling, I know people here in the area still need to sell. Um, Robin's Air Force Base, a lot of people have to PCS out, a lot of people have to PCS in, and most of them who are PCSing out, they are not renting their properties. Most of them are actually selling their property. And so inventory increases, you will see more houses coming on the market. If we're looking at the housing market predictions from the National Association of Realtors, um, we're looking at a 9% increase in home sales. Um, that's quite a bit of home sales. We also see a mortgage rate stabilization, according to the NAR chief, at 6%. Does that does that really happen? Does that really happen? What do you think happens with the interest rates? Just based on what's going on now um, in the market, in um, with all the with all the you know um predictions and the new government and the job rates and all that stuff. Do we really see a decrease? I mean, if we look at uh, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for example, um, the jobless rate actually jumped in November quite a bit. So the numbers are not looking too good when it comes to employment and unemployment, and that is what actually is a real driving factor in our real estate industry, right? Uh, More jobs, more people working, and less people being unemployed is a stronger market, um, which hopefully also helps the inflation rate, and therefore that hopefully brings down the interest rates. I'm in favor of interest rates going down, and I hope interest rates going down because I think that housing should be more affordable, and currently it's just not. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense right now, and it's a really I've been doing this for a while, and this is a really, 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 really weird market. Um, but the Federal Reserve, they do what they do. They lower the Fed rate, and a lot of people think that interest rates are going up down when they lower all that. But does it really happen? No, it doesn't. The last two times the Federal Reserve decreased the Fed rate, the interest mortgage interest rates actually went up. And that's the crazy thing. That's what people don't think about usually a lot of times. Let me show you this real quick. Uh where can I da-da, where can I it's new to me. Okay. So I gotta figure a way out to make this all happen live stream. I don't know. What came up. but I thought live stream would be cool. Maybe get some questions in and all that stuff. Um, that would be probably cool if someone would like to, put the questions in the comments and ask me some. I would be more than happy to answer those during the live streams. And if you like the live streams, maybe I can do more of those live streams about topics and stuff that are, you know, that are coming out about real estate, about the local market, just so I keep you informed on a live basis and not just my weekly video. So here again, you see interest rates at 6.1%. If you look at the graph and what the interest rates did over the year, I mean, they didn't come down as predicted, right? Um, Median sales prices a year over year in the US is climbing, and they predict to climb it even more. And the median rent price is not going anywhere. And has a little dips, but it goes back up. Um, so it is a very strange market, as I said. And who knows what is really happening um, with all those with all those um, predictions. Because if we look at the predictions again, I mean, this is they're all over the board. It seems like that none of them really isn't in line, right? We're looking at an average. The National Association of Realtors is the only one that predicts at about 6%. I would love to go to down to 5% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. If we would, if we are in the low or in the mid fives, I think housing would be way more affordable for a lot of people. Everything about six and up to seven does make it a little bit hard. But you also have to think about that even 6% is pretty low. Think about 10, 15 years ago, their interest rates were at about 10%, 12% when purchasing a home. And now we're like half that. A lot of people got spoiled, extremely spoiled with what happened during the pandemic, artificially deflating the interest rates to 2.5, 3%. And that caused a buyer frenzy and prices went up. Um, and now a lot of people are stuck with the 2.3%, 2.5, 3% uh, buying a house in 2020, right? And if they would sell it now, they have a bunch of equity, but then they have to turn around and purchase a new house for 6.5%. Uh, they wouldn't get as much house as they had before, which is pretty frustrating. For me, it's pretty frustrating as an agent working with buyers because I want the best for them. And I know that if the interest rates would come down just a percent, they could afford way more for their family and something they really like and, be nice, get a nice house. Um, that's just the way it is, to be honest. Uh, I mean, rates could still be, eased down. And it also really depends what kind of mortgage you're getting. We're looking at um, VA loans are. Let me see more mortgage rates daily. Yeah. Okay. So if we're looking at for example, today's mortgage rates, we're looking at a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 7.12%. Um, VA loan is always a little bit cheaper. We're at 6.47%. FHA loan is a little bit cheaper, but conventional loans, yeah, we're at 7.12%. VA loans are at 6.5%. VA and FHA loans are always a little bit lower, which is good for all the people PCSing to Ramstein. That's where I came from, but to Robbins Air Force Base or any Air Force Base, matter of fact, because um, you know, if they go a little bit further down, we are close to the 6 on the edge of 5. If that happens, that's good for all the VA buyers, and that's a lot of military people that are PCSing in the next couple of months, because we're gonna get the first wave of PCS season, and people got to find homes. So hopefully that is going to transpire, that we're going to get interest rates lower, and military families can get into the fives. My prediction is I would not predict, to be honest, because if I say something wrong, I'm getting scrutinized here on my channel, and I don't want that, because I don't want to put out false information, like the other companies do. Like, I mean, it's not false information; it's just predictions. I could predict and then be false. Uh, it's just a hard thing to predict because we cannot predict the job market. We cannot predict the inflation rate, especially with a change um, in the government. It's always hard to actually figure something out, right? And getting getting a real prediction in, because there's too much stuff that's going on in general. But nevertheless, we'll see what's happening in those next couple of months, um, and see what we're gonna have there, right? What are your thoughts? What would you like to see? What do you think? Where's the housing market going? Because a lot of people, I know there are a lot of people out there, those super, super good conspiracy theorists, thinking of, oh, the market is going to crash. The market is going to crash. It's going to be a second 2008. Um, I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason for that is that supply and demand, we still have an issue. We're still not even to where it's really, really heavy buyer's market, even though it turns into that. But there's also no fraudulent mortgage practices that happened this year or the last couple of years. So it's a completely different situation. Could home prices decrease over the next couple of years? Yes, they could. Absolutely. Right. No one can tell that. But are we in a bubble? Absolutely not. There is no bubble. People are still buying homes. Um, and they will still buy homes. It's just the way currently is happen. And then I want to show you this, because there's over the next 5 years, which I think is pretty interesting. Over the next 5 years, from U.S. News Today, where they predict over the next 5 years, um, what fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic gradually giving away to potential impacts from a second Trump administration. Look for changes to immigration, expanding tariffs, the rising cost of damages related to climate change, the expansion of AI into more parts of our daily lives, and a steady dissolution of the rule-based international order focused on the global flows. Still, for the housing market, none of these factors will weigh as heavily as mortgage rates. So nothing is going to change the housing market as much as a mortgage rates. If they remain relatively high, transactions will be based more on households making moves due to changes in job, finances, and households composition. However, if mortgage rates manage to fall faster than pent up demand from the last few years could be unleashed, with volumes returning more to historic norms. So what that says is that pretty much, and I said that before, and I believe in that, if mortgage rates would drop pretty fast, a lot of people that did not buy in the last 1.5 years because of interest rates being so high gonna start flood the market. Then we're gonna have a lot of buyers, and then we are in the same boat because they equal out the inventory, and then you know it's gonna be a pretty hot market. It's not gonna be as hot as It will be in it was in 2021 or 2022, but it will heat up. If the interest rates drop, more buyers will flood the market. All the buyers that didn't buy because they waited for interest rates to fall below 6 are going to jump on it if they still can. And I believe that is the case. Um, you know, Existing home sales will rise. In comparison with the historical norms prior to the pandemic years, home sales are expected to remain low as long as mortgage rates will remain well over 6%. It's just what I said. If they go lower, then we have more home sales. According to recent projections, the Federal Reserve doesn't see inflation subsiding to 2% on a consistent basis until early 2026, which means if don't get the inflation down, then we don't see much change in 2025. But then when 2026 comes, there would be quite a bit of change in the um, interest rates, right? And I hope personally that that happens before 2026, because I work with so many people out there, and I get a lot of questions where I literally would like um, to help them more. I know that there are a lot of people out there that want to buy, but they can't because they cannot get what they want right now, and that's kind of like the sad thing about it, because I know real estate is my job, and some people will scrutinize me for stuff what I say. Overall, I love the job because I'm doing what I love. Um, it's it's helping people, right? And if the interest rates go down, I can help more people, and then I'm just happier, to be honest. I'm just happier with that. Um, I know I got a couple people watching, and I would like to hear your take. I mean, if you're in here watching, um, want to see what your predictions are actually. What do you think is going to happen in 2025 when it comes to real estate, when it comes to interest rates? Um, do you see maybe a spike in home sales? Do you think the market is going down, prices are just decreasing? Just type it in there. Don't be shy. I would really like that conversation, because it makes it a little bit easier than just me talking out loud and trying to explain a lot of stuff. So if you are watching, and please engage, I would love to hear your story or your thoughts about what's going on with the housing market currently. What do you think is going to go on with the housing market in 2025? What are your hopes for the housing market? Would let me know what your real hopes are, and if you're currently, or if you got pushed out of the market as a home buyer, if you are a home seller that didn't sell their home because they thought about interest rates being too high, and no one is actually um you know no one is actually buying. I just would like to hear um your um your take on it. It would really be nice to hear and just have a conversation. And then, of course, see if I should do more of those live videos. I know this might be a little bit choppy because it's my first one, and I apologize if that is the case. But I, I just thought about a new way to create content and communicate with the audience that I have already, and just want to figure something out new, and then be more approachable. But yeah. So also a big factor in real estate, and I don't know if you all know that, but the real estate commission procedure will change. It already changed actually. So that is old news. That is not really something new that is out there, right? It's not anything new at all. That procedure has changed. It already did. Um, and then that doesn't really play a big role in the market. Um, So let me see. Better Homes and Gardens actually had an article about stuff. 2025 homes prediction as well. So given the anticipation, Jesus, I can't even read. Given the anticipated economic trends, high interest rates, slower market activity, and price stabilization, buyers can take advantage of opportunities with a well considered approach. That is correct. If someone is actually going and, if you work with a real estate agent right now, um, you can benefit from the situation right now because there is a lot of advantages buyers can take with the current market, and it's probably going to be in beginning of 2025 the same as long as interest rates don't drop. That there is a very good approach that real estate agents can take with their clients to get a better deal for them when it comes to a house. It's just the way it is. Uh, with a patient approach, buyers can leverage a slower pace and increased inventory to find properties that align with their budgets and priorities. Again, that's correct. Right now, more inventory. Um, you can definitely find the property that you like and love for a good deal because there's not that many buyers you have to compete with. Unless there is like the unicorn that still happens here in Middle Georgia. There are some houses that are the unicorn that stay on the market for a little bit, that stay on the market not very long. But average days on the market 45 days. I mean, that's quite a bit up. That's double from 2022. Um, there is there is a there's a real good chance for a buyer, um, and what they can get, right? This article also says on the longer time on the market. That's what I just said. Houses are on a longer on the market, therefore, you have a better chance to negotiate. The decreased home prices. To be honest, I haven't seen in Middle Georgia many decreases in home prices. Um, but it happens. Houses that are technically already extremely wrong priced will probably have a decrease. This article says in 2025, we're likely to see decrease in the percentage of homes selling above asking price compared to the past few years when bidding wars and limited inventory were common. Yeah, of course, because now buyers actually have a chance to negotiate. They have a chance to negotiate and reduce the price or get more incentives. So therefore, we won't see above list price. Like I said, unless it's a unicorn, that still happens. Some houses still sell over list price. The trend of homes selling above asking is expected to moderate for any of the same reasons we believe homes will not be selling as quickly overall 2025. This is a prediction from that guy. I don't know. It really depends on the marketing. That's all it does. If someone sells their home, if it's marketed correctly, it will still sell fast. It's all about the marketing approach and how you get it in front of the people that actually want to buy the house. And if you can't do that with your real estate agent, then that will still sell fast. It's most of the time it's pricing issues. If someone is not selling the house as fast as they thought or they could, then it's just a pricing issue and an advertisement marketing issue. That's just the way it is. And it's the way it always will be. Unless the market is going crazy like 2020 and people don't care what they buy. Or they worked with someone who wasn't really caring about um, how to navigate them through and let them buy whatever they wanted to buy, right? That's just the way it is. High demand in for move-in ready homes. In 2025, we're likely to see the highest demand for move-in ready homes for multifamily and affordable housing options will also gain traction. Move-in ready. I mean, most houses are move-in ready when they're on the market. I mean, I don't know if they're talking about furnished homes because I don't know if that's going to be really happening. Um, of course, concern of inflation. Like I stated before, that is the biggest concern. If we don't get the inflation down, we're not going to get the interest rates down. We need a stronger job market. We need inflation to go down, and then interest rates will come down. Um, Historical, we're still pretty low in interest rates, believe it or not. The 2.5 and 3% artificially deflated, like I earlier said, um, that just put a bad taste in our mouth as soon as interest rates went back up to sixes and fives and sixes. And now people think, oh, it's so much. But 15 years ago, they were at 11, 15, 11, 12%, and no one cared about. And they would say 6% now is extremely cheap. But also with the interest rates the way that they are right now, and then home prices are not going down, it is a big difference. And I hear you out there because interest rates are at six and home prices go like this. I mean, it's always getting more expensive, but that has to do with the inflation. And hopefully, we get that down. But leave a comment. I know you guys are watching. I could be boring as hell. It's my first live. I'm just trying something new, but engagement would be cool if someone just, drops a comment or something like that, says hi. Would be cool. Just let me know if you have any questions because I don't want to talk the whole time. I also want to, get some questions going. That's something I would like to do. Really, interact with y'all because it's different shooting a video and you know, um, putting it out there or doing it live. It's something completely different, and I might look goofy as hell, but please, let me see. And I'm new to this live stuff, so please, 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 bear with me. I don't want to hold you up too long either, because I just wanted to really quick come on, do my first live, and talk a little bit about predictions and you know, what they say, what forecast they have um, for 2025, because it's really interesting to me that all the predictions they had for 2024 were wrong, and now they over how do you say that? They, they do their new interest rate predictions, and who knows if they're wrong or not. Housing Wire is always a good shout to look through and have their stuff. They even have they have an 8%, which this is really high. If that is happening, the market is going crazy. Like, not in a good way, right? This scenario isn't new. Most forecasters got the mortgage trends for 2024 wrong. No kidding, they did. In late 2023, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage neared 8%, the highest level in decades. At the time, most mortgage market observers expected that rates had reached their peak and would generally decline in 2024, which they did. And that 8% wasn't there really long, to be honest. Where was that 8% peak? Yeah, I mean 2023, I don't even see the 8% peak in their in their graph there. But hey, 8%, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like I said, this is what everyone predicts, and we always go by high 7.2, 7.25. They all were wrong in the first place, 2024. So do we really believe them that those predictions are going to be correct? I mean, the housing wire itself does forecast 5.75% to 7.25%. That's a huge margin. I mean, that is a huge gap of predictions. I guess they were wrong in 2024, so now they're making their predictions a little bit wider. So, it could be it could be right at one point. Hey, we said it's between, so we're just in the middle. So everything is good. Um, yeah, like I said, the market predictions were wrong in 2024. All those that we see down here were wrong for the 2024 market predictions. For the 2024 mortgage rate forecasts, they were wrong, and now they did actually adjust their predictions for 2025, which in mid 2024, they predicted us to be at mid fives in 2025. So that's quite an adjustment. We went up 1.5% almost, or we went up 0.5% in predictions to almost 2%, because they don't know what's going on. And that has to do a lot with election, a new administration coming in, and what's going to happen, because no one knows that. It's always every 4 years. It's a little bit iffy when it comes to real estate, because no one really knows what's happening, what policies are implemented, how are those policies are actually affecting the job market and the inflation rate, right? And we've been living on a high inflation rate for a couple of years now. It's been crazy, but not only in the US, but also all over the world. So I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight on the market prediction and where we at, and what experts are predicting for 2025 with the mortgage rates, being anywhere between 5.75% to 7.25%. I honestly don't think we're going to go to 7.25%. Um, I think inflation has to increase even further for us to go there. I hope I'm not going to jump in the boat of predictions here, because I don't want to be wrong on that. And it's hard to predict. But I hope that we can be in low sixes, mid fives in 2025. That would help so many people out there purchasing a home. Um, yeah, and that's my take on it. I rambled for almost an hour now, and I hope at least you got something out of it, and some information out of that live. Please let me know if I should do more lives about it, about the market or about the area. Bring on some locals or whatever you like. I really would love your feedback. I know it was choppy, because it was my first live ever on my YouTube channel, but I really, really would appreciate some feedback. And I know people are coming in watching. So if you would put your feedback in the comments, let me know if you want to see some more lives about the area, about, real estate, news in general. And I would be more than happy to do it. And I'm promising I'm getting better with lives as more as I would do. This is just my first try. I hope you guys still enjoyed a little bit of the information that I gave you. And I hope you join me on the next one. And I hope you comment below. And if you haven't and you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and you like, share it with friends. I post videos every week about Warner Robins, Georgia, and Georgia in general, about real estate and all that stuff, good stuff, not only the real estate, but also local stuff. So if you enjoy that type of content, I would appreciate some support. I would appreciate a like, a share, or a subscription. So, like I said, I don't think we're gonna be that bad off. The market is a little bit iffy. And it's gonna start to be a little bit iffy. That's my take of 2025. I wish all of you happy New Year. Wish you all the best for 2025. Health, happiness, all that you can have. Great 2025. Give me some feedback. I hope I see you in the next live stream.